Hi guys, I'm Jackie Emig, realtor in Colorado. I want to go over the steps of home buying with you and some mistakes to avoid when doing that. I know you're super excited, you're on the high of actually making that decision, yes, I want to purchase a home, but sometimes it can be a little bit confusing not knowing where to start. So let's dig in to what that looks like. Alright, you, lovely you. First and foremost, I want you to have realistic expectations. Just know that you're probably not going to be able to purchase your ultimate dream home the first time around. So many Americans purchase a few homes in their lifetime, and it's okay to scale your way up. It's the best way actually to purchase real estate. Just kind of work your way up and know that ultimately you will get there, but right now you just got to kind of be realistic and know that you're not going to have everything in that first home, okay? And that's okay. Most of us do this. Alright, first and foremost, let's get the money in order, alright? So, working with a lender, what does that look like? You're going to want to get more than getting a pre-approval, you're going to want to get pre-qualified. That's going to be a much more in-depth look at your finances and determine whether or not you're qualified and how much you're qualified to spend. Alright, things that they're going to look at, just so you know, they're going to look for employment history. They want to see 2 years of employment history typically. There is a little bit of grace there if you've made some changes in different jobs or employers. They just want it to be within the same industry. Alright, talk to the lender, find out what that looks like specific to them. Ultimately, what they want to see is a source of income. Alright, what does your income look like? Can it be proven or verified? Is it documented? Also, with that, they're looking for a minimum credit score. There are several different type of loan options available. So those are all going to have different criteria as far as minimum credit score. That can vary a little bit between different lenders. Be careful though, don't shop lenders, alright? That's going to hurt your credit score ultimately if you're applying at all of these different places. It's not a good idea. So find a good lender. I definitely recommend using a local lender to the area that you're going to be buying. They're going to understand the nuances that go into home buying in that area specifically. Between your real estate agent and the lender, there are very specific dates and deadlines that they have to meet. So working with a local lender will help ensure that you're meeting those dates and deadlines. Now with that, if it's a national lender that has a local branch and someone you can work with at that branch, that's okay too. Just have someone local that understands the market that you're working in, alright? With that, you're also going to want to take into consideration cash reserves or down payment. Do a little research on different loan programs that are out there and what that looks like, alright? Because there are different percentages that you might have to apply towards that home purchase. Some of them don't require any at all, but most of them do, so just know what that looks like. Do your research and be prepared when you go in to speak with a lender. And then one last thing I want to talk about as far as working with that lender and determining what that conversation should look like and if you're qualified. They're going to want to know your DTI. Ultimately, that's what they're trying to figure out. DTI is your debt to income ratio. So I'm going to put that on the board here so you can calculate it and figure out what yours looks like and kind of figure out what you would be pre-qualified for before even speaking to a lender, alright? So we're going to look at total monthly debt, and that is going to be a number, right? How much your monthly debt is compared to your gross monthly income. Alright, also going to be expressed in a dollar amount. That's going to give you a decimal. Multiply that by 100 to determine what that percentage looks like. That's what you're going to want it in, is a percent form, because what lenders are looking to do is 36%. That's including your mortgage or this new home loan that you're going to be getting. They want to see it at 36% or less, alright? So Just know though, if you have really excellent credit, there might be a little bit of leeway and they might be willing to consider more than 36%, but most lenders most of the time are looking for 36% to keep this DTI at, all right? So that should help you at least determine what you're eligible for when you do go speak to someone, okay? Next up, your agent. This is my favorite part. So this is actually really fun also. Be sure that you speak with a few different people. Don't have them taking you out to houses and things. Just find somebody that you're compatible with. Maybe get a recommendation from a friend or a family member. Somebody who has good ratings. Somebody who communicates well with you, all right? You want somebody that you just mesh well with. So this is one of the biggest purchases you'll ever make. So having a good agent is really going to help guide you through this process, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. All right, and next up, finding your house. When you find your house, it's going to be a fun and exciting time, and I know that this is actually when the real nitty-gritty stuff comes together. And that is actually going to be largely in part with your agent working alongside your lender and working alongside you, all right? You guys are all going to be working together, working with the seller. All four of you have to work together really to bring this together before you actually get the keys. So with that though, when you are searching for your house, like I said before, have realistic expectations. Know that you're not going to get everything that first time around, but also something that's going to help you and your agent out is to just drive by the house before you even go and do a tour of the home. This is going to help you decide whether you like the area, the neighborhood. Does it have the parks or maybe grocery stores where you want them, or does it have as much acreage? Does it have good proximity to roads and routes that you may want to be taking to work? Things of that nature. So you can actually, if you have a really long list of homes that are of interest to you, you can narrow down to just a few of those simply by driving by and seeing if the houses are really what you want and what you're looking for in your ideal home. All right, so something to consider. And also, just a little tip for you, it's a good idea to drive by those same neighborhoods at nighttime. You never know what it's going to look like in the evening compared to daytime when everybody's gone and at work. For example, a friend of mine, this house that she really loved, she went there at nighttime and there was actually a motorcycle club at one of the neighbors' houses hanging out in the street. Now, for some people that might be awesome and exactly what they're looking for, but for her and her family, that wasn't exactly what she was looking for at that time, especially with a young child. So those are different things that are going to help you really determine what house and houses you really want to look at, okay? Help narrow that down because it can be exciting, but it can be overwhelming at the same time. All right, so before we go, I want for you to also find out what those tips are as far as the mistakes that home buyers often make. It's not just first-time home buyers that make mistakes. I've worked with buyers who have made some of these mistakes and they've purchased a home before, all right? So let's go over those things so that you can avoid them. All right, now that we've had a chance to go over how to buy a house, let's talk about the 5 most common mistakes buyers make. Number 1, now is not the time to job hop or quit your job. In order to be qualified and to stay qualified throughout that whole process, you're going to want to stick out your job where you currently are. Changes in employment is the quickest way to quit being qualified for the loan that you're using to purchase a home. Number 2, looking at houses before getting qualified. This is the surest way for heartbreak for a buyer. So you're actually going to want to work with your lender, get qualified beforehand because you don't want to fall in love with a house that's out of your price range. So imagine falling in love with a $400,000 house only to find out that you're qualified for $350,000. It's heartbreaking, it's time consuming, it's just a bad idea. Don't do it. Number 3, shopping third-party websites for your home. This actually can be really frustrating for both you and your agent, so just don't do it. Your agent can provide you with resources and websites that will give you the most comprehensive list of homes that are available. So websites like Zillow, Trulia, those are good examples of third-party websites. They actually have to get individual permission from all of the different brokerages across the US in order to pull that information from them. So it's not always going to be the most accurate, it's not going to be the full list of what's available, and it's not that complete. So let me give you an example. I have a buyer who actually sent me some addresses, and most of them were either under contract, meaning they already were in a committed relationship with a buyer and no longer an option, or they actually were even sold and had been sold for 2 months. So not your best option. Find out what your agent would like for you to look at. Number 4, making big purchases or skipping payments once you've already been qualified for a loan. So just because you've been qualified doesn't mean you stay qualified. So be sure that you're not purchasing things like furniture or an engagement ring, things of those nature. So if you're considering any purchases like that, speak to the lender first. Let them know what you're thinking of doing. It can take cash, or it just makes all sorts of adjustments in what they're calculating when they make those calculations. So it can disqualify you, and there's nothing worse than becoming disqualified when you're already in the midst and on your way to purchasing that home. So skipping payments, this is not the time to do that either. It will also impact your credit score and make you ineligible for whatever that loan is that you currently are qualified for. Number 5, buying too much house. This is what we affectionately refer to as being house poor. You do not want to experience this. The saying less is more is very true in this area. You don't want to buy so much house that you can't do the things that you love doing. You want to be able to still go on vacations and do other things. Don't tie up so much of your monthly budget into your house that you don't get to enjoy life. Alright guys, I hope that you found this helpful. Ways to purchase a house, things to avoid and things not to do. I wish you so much success in purchasing a home, and if you have any questions, of course, comment down below. I'll try to help you the best I can. Bye guys, thanks for watching.